Today, we are bringing you a short story from Kafka. The short story that I want to talk about today is titled The Judgment. And this is one of his more famous stories. It's about 10 pages long and it is tremendous. In those 10 pages, you have almost an entire glimpse into, a period in this guy's life that is very, very significant. And I'm not going to spoil it. I'm not going to, go through everything that happens until the end of the video to give you an opportunity to really read it for yourself. The greatest thing about these stories is everything that Kafka has ever written is in public domain because he unfortunately passed so long ago. I mean, he lived a long time. He was born a long time ago. So everything that he's written will be in public domain so that you can, go access it for free. So feel free to either pick up the book I link in the description or find this for yourself. But what The Judgment is really about is it's about the age-old tale of a disapproving father and how that weighs on the child, how that weighs on the son. And particularly in the world we live in today, it is very difficult to be a son. It's very difficult to live up to expectations of a father because we live in a day and age where the traditional gender roles are kind of disappearing and they're kind of evolving into something else. And, to be the man that your father wants you to be is not really feasible anymore. And I think Kafka hits at this, and it's interesting to see that he dealt with this issue so long ago. At some point, I'm going to go through his letter to his father and pick that apart and really go through that and see maybe something that is similar to my situation. But for me, it really hits home to me because this is something I'm dealing with right now. This is something I'm dealing with, like living up to my father's expectations, becoming a man, stepping out on my own and how he views me and how he treats me and, not necessarily getting the exact respect that I want from him. And it's an age-old tale, but Kafka hits it perfectly. And now the spoiler is about to happen. So if you haven't read this and you plan on reading it, pause it, come back. If you don't plan on reading it, here's the synopsis. The Judgment is about a man who is getting engaged and he is, deciding whether to write a letter to his friend or not. So he goes and consults his elderly father. They run a business together and, the dad is kind of taking a back seat because he's in old age. He's very feeble. He really needs assistance to get around and the son kind of has to do everything for him. And this is what we're led into. And eventually, the son is talking to the father. He's like, should I tell my friend about this? And he goes, well, funny thing. I've actually been talking to your friend. He knows everything that's been going on. He knows how wicked you become. He knows how evil you become. And he's like, I'm glad your mother died so that she didn't see how much of a selfish prick you are, basically. And it's like, you're just like, you're not expecting this twist. And as the father begins to speak, he begins to get more vigor and he begins to, basically get bigger and bigger and stronger and stronger. And like, you really find out all along that the father really isn't as feeble as he, appears to be. Rather, he's just letting his son kind of show his true character, show his true colors. And, some of the ending lines is like, I can't believe how selfish you become. I can't believe that it took your mother to die for me to figure out how selfish you are. And it hits home and the story ends by the son throwing himself into the river, doing, ending it for himself, we'll say. I don't know, it's going to get caught in the algorithm or not, but like, it's a very interesting tale, and it hits at the theme of disappointing your father. It hits at the theme of disappointing someone who wants you to be exactly like them, disappointing someone that wants something for you that really isn't you. And I think this is a universal theme that I especially feel myself. And when I was reading this, it very much resonated. I'm not saying that like a lot of the issues with my father are outward, but it's always that hidden thing. I can always see he wants me to go a certain path. I can always see he wants me to go down and follow in his footsteps. And the truth is, like, following the footsteps of a great man is never going to do anything. It's never going to do anything except have people say, well, you got here because of your father. You did this because of your father. And it's like, you need to step out on your own. You need to find your own path. You need to find your own journey. And I think it's a fine line between wanting your son to do the best, wanting your child to do the best, and understanding that they're not exactly like you, understanding that they want to be their own person. They want to, experience things for themselves. You might know the answer, but it's not necessarily something that you should put in their face. Like, it should be something that you say, told you so, and kind of laugh at after the fact, after they learn their lesson. Be like, I've told you this all along if you only listen to me. And you're like, yeah, you got to learn the hard way. So I think these are themes that, really recently I've just been coming back up in my life. And really recently I've been, kind of rationalizing them. But it's interesting to see that I'm not alone, and it's interesting to read Kafka put it together so perfectly. So I will link all of this is the complete short stories. This is a tremendous collection. I really can't wait to go through all of these, but I knew the Judgment was one that I really wanted to go through. So we might go through all of them. We might go through just the major ones, maybe just the ones that really stick out that I really enjoy. I have no idea what I want to do exactly with this book, but if you guys thought I was done with Kafka, unfortunately not. Peace out. I love you guys so much. Link to this book will be in the description. If you want to know I'm streaming, go ahead, join my Discord. On top of that, if you want my courses, my short stories that I write myself, they're not even close to as good as Kafka's, but if you want to read those, they're in my school. So thank you guys so much. Peace out. I will catch you next one.